let's get back to the Bofors story, the way it started. When it started, perhaps, and as you write here rightly, that you didn't know that this was going to be so big.
Yeah.
It started off as any other story.
Yeah.
And but what kept you going? I mean, of course, the family, I know. But what was the one factor that kept you going despite all the setbacks and pressures? So let's hear that.
The reactions, Nitin, the reactions in India. Had the Prime Minister just said that, let a committee look into this. Okay, there is some Swedish radio story. Let a committee look at it. I mean, if it had been Indira Gandhi, that's what she would have said, no? Why would you go to the parliament and why would you say, I'm not involved? Why on earth would you say that?
A guilty mind would say that.
Guilty mind.
Right?
Correct. And then one has thought that, inexperience, guilt, or somebody put him up to it, jumping up and down. You are the Prime Minister, you've got such a huge mandate. Why are you saying? And then, of course, one thing led to the other. The opposition people, they all flew to Geneva. Rajiv was involved. Then it just got out of control.
Yeah. So just for the viewers who may not have the context, the younger viewership that we have, we are talking about Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi in the period between 1984, December, when he got elected with the huge mandate that you spoke about, and finally had to demit office in 1989 and never came back to power.
Never came back to power. Yeah.
And one of the blame that people sort of see the reason for his downfall is Bofors and Bofors Gate. So you were the central figure in this. Initially, a lot of newspapers, and you, I think, worked with the Hindu, the Indian Express, the Statesman, and everyone was probably, playing their own games. But,
yes.
So tell me a little more about that politics, about journalism politics.
Journalism politics was quite, which came also as a shock, because you get into journalism because it's as a public good. You get into it because you feel that when you put pen to paper, it's sacred. People expect you to at least believe what you're writing. And that's how I cultivated the sources. Mr. Sten Lindstrom, he came, I spoke to him. And then in the beginning, all was okay with Mr. Ram. Mr. Ram had no connections, had no source. I was living there and I connected. Then he started playing around with the documents. The more documents I got, the more I found that they were not being printed. Sitting on something critical like Rajiv Gandhi's name, or something, that famous secret meeting, the tutoring where such high people like Gopi Arora and then Vora and D.K. Bhatnagar, S.K. Bhatnagar, they tell the top Bofors people, say this, say that, don't say this, don't say that, the JPC cannot guarantee. I'm looking at stuff, and don't forget, I'm not a big journalist, I'm also young. I'm saying, oh, my God, these people are gold standard bureaucrats, and they are lying.
That's right.
So,
that must have come as a
was a shock. Yeah. Because then, Nitin, where do you go to?
Yeah, exactly.
Where do you go to get someone to tell you, okay, Chitra, this is okay? If you can't even trust your bureaucrats, or you can't trust your judiciary, if you can't trust your parliament, politicians leave it, they're different. But then who do you trust?
That's right.
Which is why when you couldn't even trust your own editor, and then the editor starts playing games and then threatens the Prime Minister, then you realized, then who do I trust? Then I trust my source.
Yeah.
So the relationship between the source and me became very strong.
Yeah. So talking about, just again another context, she was talking about Mr. N. Ram, who was then the editor of the Hindu. But the source, coming to the source, Sten Lindstrom, Sting, became your go-to man. And I think you acknowledged his daughter was here, at the launch in the IIC early this week. And so how did that relationship develop?
Between him and Ram?
Yes. No, between you and between you and Sting.
Sting. In the beginning, he was very, he's a man of few words. So it's, I can't get much out of him. I would say, I knew he had documents to give me, that he wouldn't give me. He made me go round and round, and at one point I said, listen, if you're not going to help me, you're with the bad guys. Because he's a very, very circumspect and very
A police investigator,
Ah,
basically.
police and then he had done the search and seize, and he'd met everybody. Martin Adbo, he had the documents. So then when he took me to his office, and I saw these troves and troves of documents, I said, it's like a child in a sweet shop.
Sweet shop, yeah, exactly.
So I took quickly what I needed to take. And that relationship has always been very precious. In fact, yesterday at the launch, he wrote a little note for me, and it was very emotional. We continue to be very, very close because it's the story of two families.
Sure. He would have also suffered. He would have
suffered. He took risks, great risks, which is why outing his name in Delhi.
30 years later.
No, and first and outing his name in Delhi without printing that AA services. I mean, Enram, I don't know who did, because only I told the name to Mr. Enram. But how was his name circulating in Delhi? So everyone knew, you know. And Mr. Arun Nehru tells me he didn't know Mr. Martin Adbo. Mr. Martin Adbo is the chief negotiator from Bofors. So then I told him, Mr. Arun Nehru, Mr. Martin Adbo knows you. Look at the documents. So I was discovering that
you were peeling the onion, actually.
Yeah, but I was cutting my teeth on investigative journalism, Nitin.
Sure.
I was also cutting my teeth as a mother.
Yes. And that parallel journey.
Something else. I mean, I don't want to show off, but it was not easy. The children say, why did you, I mean, they can ask me, why did you not give up? But I couldn't give up.